couple of months ago, I made a video on this channel talking about my favourite Dreamcast games. It was kind of like a top 5 list of my favourite Dreamcast games because we were literally hitting the 25th anniversary of the Sega Dreamcast, and one of the games on those lists was actually the original House of the Dead 2. I basically talked about how important a game this was for the Sega Dreamcast, how important it was for the overall arcade scene back in the day. It's very hard to believe, looking at this game sometimes, that it is actually like 25 years old, and the fact that Sega were allowing us to finally play arcade equivalent experiences in our home on the Sega Dreamcast was really exciting for a game like House of the Dead 2. It was overall just really important for the gaming industry in general, and is definitely a part of gaming history as far as I'm concerned. Although I was a wee bit saddened by the fact that there had not been any up-to-date ports of the original House of the Dead 2 that have came by at all. I think the last ones that we had were on the Wii of all consoles. It's actually been that long since Sega gave us something regarding House of the Dead 2, and because of how good these games still look, like if you actually have a Sega Dreamcast, maybe you have the Sega Dreamcast HDMI mod for example, you would be surprised at how good this game looks still today. Nonetheless, I'm finally happy to say that we do have some news in the form of House of the Dead 2, and it's actually that the game is being remade by the same guys who remade the first game that came out a little while ago. I've actually not played the first game's remake. I never got round to it. I did pick it up in a Steam sale a while back, but never got round to it. The reason I never got round to it is because it was actually released on a Nintendo Switch at first. So by the time it did come out on Steam and get a bit of a sale, I'd kind of forgotten about it a wee bit. And I will be honest, I am more of a House of the Dead 2 guy because that is like one big game that I had on the Sega Dreamcast's launch, and it's kind of got like a bit of a nostalgic spot for me. And the fact that I maybe do think that House of the Dead 2 is a better overall game than House of the Dead 1, but I do think that's debatable because the mansion is such a great location in the original game. Nonetheless, I am happy that House of the Dead 2 is coming back in some form, even though I still think the original game looks absolutely fantastic in this day and age, and I'm still quite saddened that they've never like ported it to PC or anything like that over the years so that it's like readily available for people to play, because it's still a really fun game. It's still good that it's getting a remake here because people can experience it in an all new form. Even though I think the trailer looks pretty good, I mean, there's little things about the trailer that irk me a little bit. I don't think the graphical style is perfect or anything. Maybe it looks a bit too brown, even though the original game does have a bit of a brown style about it. It still looks a wee bit too brown in the graphics in my opinion, and I do think that maybe I think the original's voice acting, from what I've heard of the trailer here, is still a bit better than this new game, because it looks like they're still trying to keep it quirky like the original game here. But if you listen to the characters in it, they sound a wee bit more off. I don't know, maybe that's just because of the fact that I'm used to the older game here and we'll need to play the new one to get used to it. As long as the gameplay's fun, that is all that matters at the end of the day for like a House of the Dead game, you know? And I can't help but wonder if they're going to remake House of the Dead 3 and 4, because I do know that the original House of the Dead 3 was on the OG Xbox back in the day, so not a lot of people like had a chance to play that one as well. If this one sells well, I can't see them not remaking House of the Dead 3 and 4. I'd like to get some opinions of what you guys think about that. It's nice to see in this day and age of gaming as well that there is still room for normal remakes, which are like graphical overhauls of the original, because I don't want to see like the original games completely replaced or anything like that. But what I do want for House of the Dead, and I would kind of hope that Sega's looking at this a little bit, they are looking to revitalize some of their old IPs. We know they've got a Jet Set Radio coming out, Golden Axe, New Streets of Rage. I would hope they're looking at House of the Dead as well and kind of looking to give it some sort of second chance. Like, they don't need to copy House of the Dead 1 or 2 or the previous games, but I could honestly see this franchise becoming a big deal in the form of a survival horror series. What do you guys actually think about that? I'd like to get some opinions on it actually, because I do feel like it's a bit of a wasted opportunity for the IP that is known by a lot of people. But I would also like to get your opinions on this remake that's coming out for the spring. I for one will be there day one, and I think a lot more people will be there day one because it's coming out on every console and PC on the same day. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.